Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching and Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channels. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you who've been here a while. Got over 2,200 of these audios for your listening pleasure. This is the Wrestling Challenge Review Series for the 2nd of July, 1995. We got about maybe, I don't even know, 2 or 3 more of these before we go off to the benefit of WCW 1992. The Saturday Night History on TBS is kind of an interesting run, and the 92 through 85 run of that is what we're going to try to bring to you. But anyway, certainly something that I am excited to do because honestly, I didn't grow up in that era. 92 is when I started watching WCW, so especially, 90 and 91 is going to be fun. But anyhow, this is the Wrestling Challenge Series, of course, that ends on the, I believe, 27th of August, 1995, so we're not too terribly far away from there. But anyhow, as mentioned, this is the 7th or the 2nd of July. So and we got 2 or 3 more of these. Anyhow, so we open with none other than a Hakushi versus Ross Greenberg match. Hakushi, of course, at this point, not quite going into the run with Barry Horowitz, yet, but almost there. Really basic run here. Nothing necessarily that's terribly wonderful in the match, but Hakushi's still a guy that never really caught on to the degree that he could have in the area, mainly because I don't think Vince ever really understood the character well enough to give it a shot. Hakushi still with Shinja for about another month, maybe a little less. Ross Greenberg is the enhancement talent he faces off against here. Super basic matches along the way, hard shots, and ultimately kicks from Hakushi. Hakushi trying to keep his man down, hops up to the top turnbuckle, hits a shoulder tackle, and off we go there. Stephanie Wyand bringing about, after the win for Hakushi, bringing about conversations of the Madison Square Garden Saturday night program, and in August, kind of bringing about the click on top of the WWF in 1995 is the main topic here. We move to another in the series of enhancement matches, this time a little bit different, as it were, actually highlights from Raw. We won't really talk about those. I don't talk about those here because when we have to go through the Raw program, which I am dreading doing, by the way. 1,500 episodes of Raw, good gosh, no, just no. Anyway, but they basically are hyping the roadie here, and they kind of showing that around. At this point, they've kind of given up, to be honest, on Challenge being a first-run show, finishing out the contract with about a month to go on the contract, 2 months, something like that. But anyway, it kind of seems like just a run of through, and so then we go to the next in the series of matches, Radford and Jeff Hardy. Hardy, of course, becoming a major force. Radford later becoming Louis Spicolli in ECW, and that is the note of fame that he has at the time. Spicolli managing as Radford to hit a hanging suplex and then a running shot, almost doing kind of a grungy, ECW-esque thing even before he gets to ECW in 96, that is Spicolli. But obviously having done the Mexico thing as Madonna's boyfriend there, Spicolli dives the outside through the ropes, and a really basic match here. Obviously he gets victory in pretty quick order, as it were, and doesn't exactly lead everywhere he wants to go, but manages to grab that victory. Bob Holly up next. Of course, Spark Plug Bob Holly, a former tag team champion for a day at this point. And Tony DeVito, his major opponent here, although how major can it really be? A couple of shots. DeVito managing to hit shots under the chin and some basic things here. As mentioned, pretty basic, and ultimately, those harder shots, as it were. Drop kick under the chin by Bob Holly, and the deeper arm drags splash from the top. Holly is in complete control, or as close to complete control as we can get, and Bob Holly pretty intense, aggressive here, as it were, and the Jerry the King Lawler managing to hit a interview where he talks about Isaac Yankem, DDS. Isaac Yankem going to get rid of Bret Hart for him after the King of the Ring halitosis that Lawler suffered from being forced to eat his own foot. Goofy promo, as it were, but they're trying. Highlight selling merchandise. Duke the Dumpster Droese in a enhancement match, and Droese hits an atomic drop pretty quickly. Nothing worth writing home about there. Ends up turning that atomic drop into a hanging atomic drop. Drop kick under the chin, trash compactor from Droese, and he says he's taking out the trash, and there we go. He is pretty determined again. There is the Stephanie Wyan report, and we kind of see highlights of the King of the Ring where Bret Hart and Jerry Lawler went at it, and they are continuing their feud. Feud that really runs over 2 years. Couldn't even imagine something lasting 6 months now in wrestling, but 2 years a long feud by standards. Owen Hart and Yokozuna going at it with each other, or going at it as tag team champions, as it were. A couple months after that, and some big power slams, and that leg drop by by Yokozuna. Owen Hart getting the victory there. 1, 2, 3 Kid being hyped up as a guy who is, I don't know that I'd say coming to the area, but then we go to With My Baby Tonight, Jeff Jarrett, the music video. Made a comeback on the Bruce Pritchard show years ago. Made a comeback with Jeff himself years here on his podcast. Worth giving a listen to, but that's how we'll close this particular show. We'll be back with more right after this.